welcome to the third episode of the Hughes Musings podcast. My name is John.
And I'm Carol.
And we are the Hugheses. And this is Hughes Musings. And this week we're going to be talking about school discos. But before we do, how's your week, Carol?
My week's been okay. You know, the usual, up and down. But I was at my our nephew's birthday party this week.
Yeah, my nephew too.
Yeah, but you weren't there though, so
No.
you had to work, unfortunately. It was on a Saturday.
Yep.
So I felt a bit funny, because we don't have any children, and I was at a children's birthday party.
Yes.
So, you know. So it was at soft play. So the children were just kind of happy doing their own thing. They didn't really need me to kind of get involved too much. But had a little dance, done the hokey pokey.
Always good. Any excuse, in nearly 30s to do the hokey pokey.
Yeah.
It's always good.
And then they brought out all the party food.
Right.
For children only.
No, so no adult food whatsoever.
No.
That seems harsh.
So I was like, ooh, I'll just buy some from the cafe. Cafe shop.
Closed, right. Yep.
So, yeah, I was starving. So, do you know what we done?
What did you do?
Me, Mum and Dad went to an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet after.
Without me?
Yeah.
This is genuine news.
So, went there.
Where did you go?
I think it's called Jade Palace in Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Oh.
And do you know what they had?
Great.
A chocolate fountain.
Oh, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I know, like, Chinese restaurants aren't really the best for, like, desserts.
Yeah, no. I've always found that. Like, the one that we went to near my dad's when we went to visit him last time.
Yeah.
Great little buffet. Terrible desserts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they had a variety of sponges, and then they had the chocolate fountain, which is winner.
Absolute bonus.
So they had, like, marshmallows, strawberries, you know, things to dip in. And I literally got a bowl and a spoon and just scooped loads of chocolate into a little bowl.
Sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
So when you say scoop loads of chocolate, you mean like as in just put that chocolate fountain sauce in your bowl?
It wasn't chocolate fountain sauce. It was melted chocolate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got a little spoon and just held it under the fountain and was like, scoop, 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 scoop.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow. That's like one step away from sticking your face under it.
Do you know what? I was tempted. And then I realised once I sat down that I'd actually used the big serving spoon for the strawberries. Just was now my spoon.
Whoa.
So the spoon you're supposed to use to scoop out the strawberries, I'd scooped out the strawberries and then scooped out the chocolate and then just kept walking, carrying this spoon. So Mum had a little teaspoon and I had like a slightly larger dessert spoon, like not a dessert spoon, not a serving spoon, like in the middle.
Right, okay. I had full-on pictures of giant serving spoon, the size of your face, and everybody else in the buffet looking at you like, wow, she really wants chocolate.
I was sad because I'd just been to a birthday party and had nothing.
Oh.
Apart from that, I think I've had a good week. Not really much to talk about, I don't think.
No, I think we've had...
But how was your week? That was my week. How was your week?
Yeah, I think we've had a slightly uneventful week. I think I've just kind of been in work, and that's about it, really. I don't think I've got a lot to report.
What did we do on Sunday?
Sunday we went and spent some time with your family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a second birthday.
Second birthday.
For Matthew.
Yeah.
Who is like any normal person and has a week of birthday parties.
Yep. Yep, as I said, more birthdays than the Queen.
Yeah, we had buffet food.
Yep.
Cake.
Yep.
Played a little.
Had
lots of new toys.
Little mini Scotch eggs, which just makes my entire life.
Yeah.
Had a wonderful time. Yeah, I think I'm kind of hitting the start of a bit of a health kick.
Yeah.
So my days off have been relatively uneventful. I have been to the gym.
Yay.
And I went to the cinema. Once with you.
Oh yeah, we went to... I think, do you know what's really confusing me? Is that normally we record our podcast like the weekend before.
Yeah.
But so we've had 2 weekends since our last podcast because we're late.
We are a couple of days late, so we'll release at the same time.
Yeah, so it's weird we've had two weekends since we last spoke.
We are a couple of days later, so it feels like we haven't recorded for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went once with you and then once without you. And the once with you we're going to talk about in our entertainment bug this week, including a genuine entertainment bug for me as well.
Yeah.
And I went once without you and went to watch Judy, which is the Judy Garland biopic, which was really good, very tragic.
Yeah.
But beautifully made. And it was nice to see Renée Zellweger do something that isn't just about how much bad plastic surgery she's had. It was really lovely. It was a great performance, and it was like, do you know when you see an actress or an actor play a part, and you're like, that is the perfect time of life for you,
right?
Like you could never have played her as a younger person, and unfortunately, Judy Garland died quite young, so she obviously couldn't play her a younger person. So I don't know, just playing the part
older
of that person at that age was just perfect.
Felt right, yeah.
So I feel like this week's been a bit of entertainment wise and cinematically, it's been a bit of a early Oscar grab week.
Oh,
I feel like the films that are coming out at the moment, they're all trying to grab some Oscar momentum ready for the start of next year, start of 2020. So yeah, I really enjoyed that actually. And apart from that, I think I've done very little.
So, what did we go see together at the cinema?
In our bug this week, we went to watch The Joker.
To watch? Yeah, so I hadn't really read any reviews beforehand, I'd seen, you showed me one advert before it because you're like, I don't really think you want to see it, here's the trailer, what do you think? And I was like, psycho thriller? Yes, please.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
See, just when I think if something's comic booky, I immediately think, oh, you're probably not going to like this.
Well, there's some things I do like I like Deadpool,
and
I like some of the Spider-Man ones, some of the X-Men ones, like here and there. I can't keep up with the story, but I like, the standalone ones.
As a standalone film, that's quite good.
Yeah. So the trailer I seen was quite dark.
Yeah, very.
Quite creepy. So I was like, yes, murder, I'm there. So I hadn't read any reviews before we went, but I kind of knew it was nothing really to do with Batman, that it was kind of I don't know if it's like a reimagine or something, but it's separate from everything.
Yeah, so I mean, it's connected to the comic books in sort of name alone. There's the characters, but it's a completely reimagined world around it. So
we are going to talk about it. So obviously, if you've not seen it,
yeah, we were just about to say spoilers.
Yeah, we are definitely going to talk about it.
So we're going to go into it. So if you want to skip straight past this section, then please feel free. But yeah, we are going to talk about just bits that we enjoyed from the Joker and some of the sort of feelings that we sort of came away with from that film. So Carol, I'm going to go over to you first, and just ask you, what were your initial impressions of the film?
So for the first half an hour, I squirmed in my seat. Like, it was very uncomfortable to watch. There was a lot of awkward silences. There was some humour maybe I didn't catch, or some references that I didn't catch. And the first half hour I was just like, this is not fun. This is not an enjoyment for me. But then after that, I don't know if I got into it or if I started to kind of pick up it more, but that was their intentions. Like, they want to make you feel uncomfortable as an audience. Like, they had awkward silences and inappropriate laughter and things like that I kind of got into.
Yeah.
And then I loved it. Like, it was dark, it was funny. Like, I was laughing when I wasn't supposed to be laughing, and I felt sorry for him. I cried. And then towards the end, he accepted who he is, so I kind of accepted the film. in a way. Like like after it, I'd heard that people had walked out halfway through, and you don't get the full effect of the film if you walk out halfway through. Like, you need to see the kind of the wrapping up of the film and the final few kind of scenes and the ending of the storyline. You need to see it to be able to appreciate the whole film.
See, yeah, I'm really shocked by that, and I'm not sure. Like, I'm not gonna go on and be a miserable grump and sort of say, "Oh, it's reflective of society today." But the fact is that how can you walk out halfway through that film?
I guess if you're expecting a Batman film or a Joker film that has some kind of relation, because see, the character who's the Joker in that is old. Like, he's portrayed to be his like 40s or something like that.
True.
And Batman is a child in there, so
yeah.
So later on, when Batman grows up, the Joker, it doesn't match up. Like, as you said, it doesn't
complete
match up.
Reimagining.
Yeah.
But the way it was advertised was a complete reimagining. Everything that everybody said before you've gone in to see the film.
Maybe they did do
very
the
clearly sort of lays that out. But not just because of that, though. Like, cinematically and dramatically, the way it's written and the way it's shot, like, it was a classic tragedy.
Yeah.
Which, as you said, made it difficult to watch. But at the same time, I found it so gripping.
Mm-hmm. I am looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah, which is rare for you.
Very
you never
rare,
go watch
very
films again.
rare.
I'm going to go and watch that plenty and plenty of times.
Yeah.
That's one of the films that we're definitely going to own when we can own it.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that it was such a great film. The way it was dramatically twisting and sort of the way the plot unfolded itself.
It was quite slow at points, where it was focusing on like his weight. Like, he was so thin.
Oh, he really was.
And the camera angles and him stretch, like he would yawn and like you'd stretch out and you could see like his ribs and stuff. And I think that can be quite hard hitting to some people.
Yeah, it was difficult to watch.
Yeah.
But as a cinematic piece, it was wonderful. And a real hark back to like films of the 70s and 80s.
Right.
There was a lot of those sort of
parallels.
Those personal stories.
Right.
Like the sort of protagonist centric films where it wasn't a big ensemble piece and it wasn't a big action film. It was literally about one person and that person's emotional journey. And that kind of took me by surprise a bit when we watched the film, because you've got other big stars in that film, but they're only in 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah.
And it's all about Joaquin Phoenix, all about him and the journey that he goes through. I thought it was phenomenal, and I've heard a lot of people sort of compare it to Robert De Niro's Taxi Driver.
Not seen that.
Which is all about a taxi driver who likewise gets very disenchanted with the society around him because of the experiences that he has with the world, and lashes out and kills because of what the world's done to him. The parallels are there all the way through. Right. It's really good, and it's really interesting that De Niro is in the film.
Right.
Because it was De Niro's film in the 70s, Taxi Driver, that it seems so clearly marked off.
Inspired by.
And it was like a comic book subject meets the classic protagonist character driven drama, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I liked how sometimes it would be the reality and sometimes it would be kind of his reality, and then you would kind of like you'd fall for it, you'd follow along, because it doesn't be like, oh, this is a dreamy, or this is like a different colouring to represent that it's in his mind.
I love the fact that
I fell for it over and over again.
But you were supposed to, because he did.
And then at the end, the part where he's on the talk show, I was like, obviously he's not really been invited onto that. And then he had, and that the time I didn't fall for it was the time it was real. Yeah. And I like that it's not to sound like, oh, I can always work it out, but it's not often that I'm tricked so many times within the same film.
Well, that's
Normally
the
I can
thing.
like predict the ending or predict the killer or that kind of thing. But I fell for it over and over again.
Well, yeah, exactly. But that's what Todd Phillips wanted you to do.
Mm.
The fantasy was like, so if you think about the character and the fact that he had mental problems, he had, unfortunately, like societal and mental issues, and he had delusions.
Yeah.
The fact is that it wasn't this dreamy fantasy, and I think directors these days, there's a very clear sort of way of being like, oh, this is a dream sequence, which is so standardized now.
Yeah.
As a viewer of modern television or film, we see that and instantly go, oh, that's a dream sequence.
Yeah.
It's got a colour filter on it, and they're doing such and such.
Yeah, the angles are slightly different.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. Mentally,
Yeah.
we watch that and go, oh, that's a dream sequence. We know that.
Of course, it's not real.
Whereas in the Joker, the Todd Phillips obviously wanted us to be sucked in to his fantasy, so we don't know when it's real or fantasy.
Yeah. Just like he doesn't.
Just like the character wouldn't know what was real and what was fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's a great little bit of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And
there's quite a lot of unsurprising comedy. Like I wasn't expecting to laugh so much.
We said this as we came out, and there was one in particular that you felt really guilty about, and I looked at your face
hilarious.
laughing, and you couldn't like. It was like the character was in front of you, and you were laughing at them.
Yeah,
I could see in your face that you felt that guilty.
Yeah, because no one else was laughing. Like, there was other scenes where everyone would kind of laugh together. Oh, we shouldn't laugh at that. Ho, ho, ho. That's funny. But this scene, we were buckled by. It was hilarious. No one else in the cinema was laughing.
I think everybody was just so sucked into the drama.
Yeah, and I was, like, wetting myself. It was so funny.
And there was the pinnacle moment. And as we said, and spoilers, honestly, if you don't want to hear spoilers about how this film goes, please turn off now. Right, so, at the end, where he has his epiphany, lashes out to the world, and shoots Murray in the face.
I gasped.
Everybody else in the cinema gasped.
Yeah.
Everybody was shocked, but it's quite close to a famous graphic novel scene from DC that I knew, and I was like, any minute now, he's going to pop up and shoot him in the face.
Well, I mean, like, we've seen the build-up that he had the gun, he was practicing pulling it out, so, like, you could sense it coming. It wasn't a shock.
But when we saw him practice, he was shooting himself each time. So I think that's where everybody was really shocked, and you could hear it, a palpable as it happened, apart from me, who went, ha! Yeah,
the top of his voice, the loudest, not even like a chuckle, just a ha! And then he realised no one else was laughing, and then he just went silent.
I carried on to the film at that point.
I thought, normally you'd like continue laughing or be like, whoops, or something, but you just went silent. You didn't continue chuckling or anything. You felt it. What I felt the previous time, where I shouldn't have laughed at that. Like,
I don't know. Well, a little bit. I did find it funny, to be honest, that everyone gasped when I went, ha. Yeah. I did find it funny, but at the same time I was gripped by the scene, because obviously he shot me in the face and I didn't want to miss too much.
Yeah, it keeps moving. Yeah, there's no like pause for cough.
That's the climax of the film, so I didn't want to miss what was coming up next. So
that was funny.
Yeah, afterwards I had to find it really, really funny.
But yeah, the scene that I found absolutely hilarious was when they're in his apartment and he shoots the guy who he throws him under the bus, like the guy. The guy who gives him a gun then says, "Oh, he was asking about a gun. Yeah, my gun's missing," or something.
Yeah,
like that.
The guy who sold him out. Yeah,
he shoots him. The little person, I don't know the correct term, is
Did
there.
He shoot him? I thought he stabbed him.
Did he stab him? I thought he shot him.
I thought he stabbed him in the neck.
Potential. Yes, he does. He stabs him.
Quite brutally.
Yeah. So there's like blood on his face, there's blood squirting out, there's a dead body on the floor. and this little person is like, "But what do I do?" Terrified,
cowering in the corner.
and the Joker's like, "Don't worry, I like you. I'm not going to shoot you."
Yeah, you were always good to me.
But
yeah.
I know that the Joker's locked the door. Like I remember that happening and noticing that this door is now got the wee safety hook latch thing.
So then you're wondering, is there going to be a continuity error there? Are they just going to let that
go? Or is
go?
he going to rip it off or something? Like,
Yeah.
you know, because it's a janky old apartment. Is he just going to pull the door and it's going to come pinging off?
Or are they just going to like cut away from it and not address the issue, which sometimes happens in films?
Yeah. No, he runs, he pulls the door open, he can't get it open because he's too short. It's just hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And the Joker has to get up.
Ask the guy who's just brutally murdered the other guy that he walked in with
to
open the door for him so he can run away.
So he can escape, so he can run away from him.
Oh, it's so wonderfully awkward. And there was a few moments like that. The just outside the hospital when he's talking to the two police officers.
Oh yeah, and he walks
and he tries to sort
of
suddenly walk away and not look back or anything.
Door,
and he walks into the wrong side of an automatic door, and it just you can hear the dunk. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have walked into glass of some nature and heard that very familiar sound of skull against glass, where you go dunk, and it was just that noise, and it was so perfect. It was hilarious.
Yeah, because it was quite eerie. The film, like quiet. There wasn't like background music or. Like when there was an awkward silence between characters, there was an awkward silence with the audience. I feel as well. Like it was quiet.
Yeah.
Like, see if you're having a conversation with someone and you make an awkward comment or a joke that doesn't land, and you know they don't pick up the conversation, you don't pick up the conversation. It's just kind of awkward. Like I felt that awkwardness, and I wanted to say something, but obviously I'm not in the movie. But I genuinely felt awkward, but it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Good film.
Mm-hmm.
Really good film. So my only bug with that is that it's got nothing to do with anything else to do with Batman and the Joker.
But yeah, as I said,
it wasn't supposed to.
Well, not that it just wasn't supposed to.
So are they going to continue from it, or is that like a one-off standalone?
Let's see. You never know. I think
because he was an old character.
I think it all depends on the traction this gets,
the sales,
and it's very out with what Todd Phillips would normally make. He's a comedian. He's a comic director.
Yeah.
You know, he's sort of renowned for his comedy, which is why I think those comedy moments were so good.
Landed so well, yeah.
And he's obviously had this idea for this big dramatic tragedy in his head for quite a long time. So I think how much traction that picks up.
Well, I hope it picks up a lot because I really enjoyed it.
It'd be interesting if from here they didn't just do Joker 2. Because we've seen that.
Yeah, what would they do though?
Take another one. Take another.
But I'm invested in this character now.
But
in his world, I want to know more about this.
If it's good though, you'll get invested. What would be great is if they did an M. Night Shyamalan type thing that he did with Glass.
Do you know, I was just about to say that. I love that film.
Take these character profiles.
Yeah.
Make
and reimagine
great
them.
separate ones,
yeah.
and then at the end, boom, put them into like a really dark Batman movie.
So, back to that film you just mentioned, Glass.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's any more coming out or anything like that?
I think, as far as I know, he's finished with that.
Oh,
because
they left it on such a good ending, though. It could.
But unfortunately, Carol, you're in a minority when it comes to that film.
So that film, which is the 3 films, was it Unbreakable, Split and Glass?
That's exactly it, yeah.
If you like The Joker, go watch them. Like, it's a very dark psycho thriller.
Yeah, I'd say especially Split.
I loved Split. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That actor, what's his name?
James McAvoy.
Love him. Oh,
Yeah.
He was brilliant in that. Patricia. Oh, loved it.
He
I want to watch it.
He's phenomenal. He's a very, very good actor, and it sort of shows with how his career's developing, of how good an actor he is. So I think, as he sort of gets a bit older, he's going to turn in to one of those actors who becomes that sort of pinnacle of a great role. I think he's getting to that point now. He does blockbusters and he does them well. Like,
So what else has he been in since that film?
he was in X-Men because he's played Xavier, and that was after Glass. So that was this year.
Right.
So he was in X-Men Dark Phoenix, which was awful.
Yeah,
but
I'm not seeing it.
He was all right in it. He was there.
Unless he's like the main character, I'm not really interested.
He doesn't do main a lot.
He did in Split.
That's why I said he doesn't do... I didn't say he doesn't do main. I said he doesn't do main a lot. And then he was just in the most recent It Chapter 2.
No, do you think I'd like it?
Maybe?
Is it too scary for me?
I don't know. We'll find out, won't we?
Oh, Halloween's coming up. Better give it a watch.
Yeah, and then he's in this thing coming up called His Dark Materials, which is going to be huge. It's like a new, amazing, magical parallel university type thing. So that looks amazing. And then he's going to be in a film called Escape, which...
Escape!
Which is in development. It isn't even filming yet. So he's actually had quite a big couple of years, going from Glass into the next set of X-Men films, which is the last of that iteration of X-Men, which is great. It means that Bryan Singer's stopping doing them, which is wonderful, which means Marvel owns them again now. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. And then he was in the biggest horror franchise of the last couple of years. It.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen it. Maybe I'll give it a watch.
Maybe. Okay, so my actual entertainment bug this week, I'm going to talk about it really briefly.
Yeah, because we've rabbited on quite a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, because I was watching the football this week. It's been the qualifiers for the Euros, and I was watching ITV, watching England play the Czech Republic, and listening to Glenn Hoddle talk about football like he is the encyclopedic expert of football, when, let's be honest, he was a terrible football manager. He was an average footballer. He was a terrible football manager. He talks like he knows way more than any of the managers, and the players are idiots, and the tactics are wrong, and he knows better, and he can read everything about the game. Does my head in, because he was crap. Plain and simple. And I know for a fact that I am not the only one that thinks that way. I saw a few Facebook statuses about how terrible he is as a commentator because he thinks he's an expert, but he's a douche.
So how would he get that job then if he's that bad?
Because he's got a name. He was like I said, he was an okay footballer, way better than I'll ever be. But from a professional standard, he was an average footballer who managed to play for his country because he was a solid player when they needed a solid player with no flair. He could tackle because he was an idiot thug. And then he became a manager, and he managed Spurs and wasn't very good. And then somehow got the England job and was probably the worst England manager of his generation. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's your bug.
That's my bug. Why let Glenn Hoddle be a commentator? Why let Glenn Hoddle do any of that stuff? How did he even become a footballer? So next up, we're going to be talking about what's on your plate. So, Carol, what's on your plate?
So this week, my favourite meal was probably our lazy night, where we hadn't defrosted anything. We nipped to the shop on the way home and got gammon steaks.
Yeah.
That was my favourite meal this week.
It's always good, isn't it?
Yeah, gammon steak, fried egg. We had carrot chips, didn't we?
We've got into our carrot chips recently. It's a new thing that we're like, oh, yeah, they're good.
Yeah. So, you buy those carrots and they're already cut into batons that people would like have with dip or something.
Yeah.
So spray them, paprika, salt, oven, just pretend they're chips.
Yeah, it's good. If you sort of roast them for long enough, they dry out.
Yeah.
What we have found is that we need to leave them in a little bit longer than we feel like we should.
A lower temperature, double
for
the time.
long.
That's what I've been doing recently. Yeah.
Because if you try and cook them
Like chips.
quick and like chips, they kind of get left slightly raw in the middle
Yeah,
and a
they're
bit
like-
mushy
Yeah, soggy
and a
burn.
bit watery. Yeah, soggy burn. That's what happens to carrot sticks when you try and cook them too quick. They turn into soggy burn.
I think the paprika.
What a descriptive. That's so good.
Paprika burns. It
Yeah.
looks dark as well.
Yeah,
so.
it does. So you think they're really cooked, but inside they're raw still.
Yeah.
And they're not great.
So that's my favourite meal. What about you? What was your favourite meal this week?
So we've had some quick meals this week. We, as we said, like we keep forgetting to defrost things. So we had a great meal tonight, actually. I think
Oh, yeah.
that's probably my favourite meal of the week. I think.
Oh.
We had venison burgers.
Yeah, so it was a mix. Now, I feel quite guilty about liking it because I feel like venison is a bad thing to eat.
Yeah,
Like-
it feels like it's got a stigma.
Yeah, but it was mixed with pork and herbs and spices or
Yeah.
something. It was really flavoursome.
We've never really done venison before, but we
No.
thought we'd try it.
But we were in Asda, they were marked down, so that was that kind of thing, really, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. So we had venison burgers with bacon
Bacon medallions,
and a little bit of low-fat cheese
fat cheese,
and a good
Whole
old
meal-
side salad,
yeah, wholemeal burger.
wholemeal burger, and sweet potato fries,
Yeah.
which we made from fresh, not any of that pre-packed stuff, which has got loads of
Hidden-
additives and a bit
hidden-
of batter on it and
yeah.
stuff like that. But I loved it. It was a great meal.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. But for what's on your plate this week, I did promise last time
Mm-hmm.
on this episode that I was going to do a what's on your plate. So,
So, John, what have you put on my plate?
well, technically, I haven't put anything on your plate.
Oh, yeah.
But you were still away. This is at the start of the week. I got excited after we talked about it last time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make loads of things," and you weren't here for any of it. But I
Yeah.
made loads of things.
So tell me all about them, then.
So I went for a classic breakfast bake for what's on your plate. I made some really good egg bakes while you were away because they last a while. They last a couple of mornings, which is great. You know, I'm not a good eater in the morning.
No.
So if it's not there for me, I won't bother eating, which is bad when you're trying to regulate your diet.
Yeah.
It's always good to eat in the morning. So I did some breakfast bakes, which is basically loads of mixed egg with peppers, onions, bacon, bit of chicken, whatever you want to put in there. Breakfast
Yeah.
bake is great. You can put whatever you want in it.
Yeah, you can hide a lot of veg in it, can't you?
Yeah, which is what I was doing this week. I had one that was absolutely like loaded with onions and peppers, and I think I put a bit-
Tomatoes, maybe? Did you get any of that in it?
yeah, I don't think we had any to put in, but you can throw them in. The
Yeah.
great thing about it is it's like the baked version of a Spanish omelette. It's just amazing. And then
Yeah, because I remember you used to make them quite a lot with courgette, and you don't really like courgette.
no, not generally, but I do quite like it in the breakfast bake.
Yeah.
Courgette with scrambled eggs or
Mhm.
like an egg mix for me. Yeah, sounds brilliant. Yeah, when we were in Cyprus, I used to make them a lot
You did, yeah.
because courgettes were really good out there,
Yeah.
and they were always in the shop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm putting a basic recipe on the website, but to be honest, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. Whatever you want to put in there, like in the same way that you'd put anything in an omelette, you can put that in your breakfast bake.
Mm.
And then it's all just about the cook time. The only thing you have to be careful of is if you over bake your breakfast bake, it all burns on like one side for some reason.
Right.
Because it doesn't stretch all over. And then if to be honest, if you really, really overbake it, then it just turns into dry, nasty dust.
Yeah.
Because if you take all the moisture out of the egg, that's where the goodness comes from. Yeah. So it just turns into dust, which is
Yeah, you have to be careful because like peppers and courgette are quite wet.
Yeah.
But then obviously you want to dry them out, but you don't want to dry out the egg. It's quite tricky.
So what you tend to do is dry fry everything first.
Right.
Dry fry your peppers and your onions and all that mix. Let that cook into itself. Then you throw the chicken in there. Get all the juice around the chicken so everything's in there.
Yeah, okay.
And then you mix that all up in the bowl. And then you put your egg over the top and then bake it through. So you don't try and do everything all at once.
Yeah, I probably just should have.
So, yeah. You kind of...
Nice.
kind of let everything cook in its own juice.
So did you remember to do some nice photos for us?
I actually did. I took a few pictures as I was going through. So as I said, I'll post that up and just write down a basic recipe. And like I said, you could put whatever you want in a breakfast bake. And they're great if you're on a diet because it's quick, it's easy.
Protein.
It's low fat, it's high protein, it's low carb, it's low sugar. It's great. Perfect.
Excellent.
And yeah, filling. And if you make a big enough one, it's available for days.
For days.
For days.
I've got a bit of a torture coming up.
What's that?
For nursery, we're having a Halloween bake sale.
Oh.
So I'm going to be baking, and I've been looking up lots of pictures and nice food.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to help with that because I'm going to do next week's What's on Your Plate as well.
Oh, yes. What you making me?
So we've had a recipe suggestion from Jenna. Thank you, Jenna.
Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Jenna. She was messaging because she was like, oh, just listen to it. Oh, have you tried these recipes? Did you check out this company and stuff like that? And I was like, oh yeah, we kind of use them a bit, and we use.
Is it Slim and Eat? She said that's what I put on last week.
I think it was Pinch of Nom.
Oh, Pinch of Nom, yeah, we use them quite a lot.
We do like Pinch of Nom, but she's got the book.
Oh, she's fancy.
Yeah, she's fancy. She went out and bought an actual book.
Not like me who downloads it and prints it.
That's what I was saying to her. I was like, generally we just use online to see what we want and inspires us. But I guess it is really good because if you've got the book there, they might come up with something that you wouldn't have even
wouldn't think to
about.
search. Yeah.
So this is why I wanted to try this recipe so much, is because I sort of said to Jen, I was like, we struggle with sweet treats and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And she sent me a recipe for OT.
Chocolate and orange oats.
Yeah, chocolate and orange oat
baked oats.
Yes, so that sounds good. So we're going to give it a go for next week.
I look forward to it.
So I'm going to make it on one of my days off, and I'm going to take pictures of it, and it's going to be gone within 24 hours. So yeah, thanks, Jenna.
Excellent.
So that's going to be next week's What's on Your Plate?
I look forward to it.
Yeah. And yeah. So, and I'll try and make more of an effort to cook during the week. I've been a little bit lazy this week.
I've been a bit lazy too. I just said we had quick meals.
Yeah, we've not been great. We've not pre-cooked like we normally do.
These dark nights are getting me down.
They are. Like we were talking last week with our seasons. It's difficult when it's dark because you're home at night. Then you're like, yeah, I'm done for the day.
Yeah. Once the clocks change, hopefully I'll feel a bit better.
Was it yesterday we were like in dinner, bed, done?
Yeah. At 8:30, I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm ready for bed. It's only 8:30. Oh no!
Yep.
Went to clean the kitchen. It was midnight before I went to bed.
Shocking.
Dafty.
Shocking.
But yeah, they're really making me tired. Especially when we're snuggly with a blanket on the sofa.
It's just the best though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just does make you a little bit lethargic though. We'll pick up once we get used to the season.
Yeah. Once we're used to the change.
We'll be okay. Oh! What's a music?
I
don't think you can use that as a theme tune.
No, it's not a theme tune. It's just a hint.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. That's a hint. That's
disco.
That's what represents a disco to you.
Yeah.
That's what a disco sounds like.
Classic disco tune.
Wow. You're such a grand.
Rude.
Disco.
D-I-S-C-O.
Tune. Disco. Disco. And we've actually had some people writing in.
Woo!
Woo! Thanks for the shout outs, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. So we have had some disco tune classics, and we are going to get round to them. But first of all, Carol, I want you to give me your most enduring disco memory.
Right. Now, this is a hard one because I've got bad memory. I've got snippets.
Likewise,
so,
I think most of us do. Like, most of us don't really remember details about the disco unless we had a particularly harrowing time or anything like that.
So I've got a couple little snippets of stories I want to say. So I think my dad was part of the PTA or was a chaperone or something. But I remember going to my brother's discos
Right.
And I would be allowed to dance at the side. Well, Craig.
I love how every disco is the same tune. Okay.
So my dad would be filming Craig, who's like busting his moves, like proper.
Oh, Craig and his moves.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
they're
then
the
I'd be
best.
like, Daddy, film me. And I'd be like, I don't know, a little dance move at the side in my black velvet dress, you know?
There are some interesting moves going on in this room right now.
I'm out of breath.
I really wish we did a video podcast because, wow.
Those were some moves.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I remember that, and I remember Craig winning like best dancer and stuff like that, and me being like, oh my God, that's my brother! He knows how to dance! And then Craig went through a phase of like dancing was so uncool, like standing at the side.
Yeah.
And then like it was exciting.
Every male in existence does.
Yeah. I remember there being like tuck shop.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you would get a packet of crisps and a wee squidgy juice.
Yeah, yeah.
That was your tuck. You paid your 50 pence.
Yeah.
And I remember quite a lot, like, screaming at the front, like, because our school had a stage, so the DJ would be on the stage,
Right.
and there'd be like a bench in front of it, so like you couldn't go near the stage, and I'd be behind it, like screaming as loud as I could, and the DJ would be like, right, come on, children, let's not scream so loud, and then I'd still be like high pitched, screaming over everyone, like not listening, being the little rebel that I was.
Not
showing
lots changed, has it, Carol?
No.
No.
But I remember there'd been a lot of like Spice Girls, Boyzone.
Yeah, you did sort of grow up in that 90s era,
Macarena.
didn't you? With loads of
Yeah.
girl bands and boy bands.
Yeah. I don't really remember Saturday night. Like, I always remember Saturday night being like older. Like, that
It
was like
is.
when that came on, it was like, oh yeah, like I know this because I went to the skating on a Friday night. Like
Saturday
that's
night is older, so that is my enduring memory.
That's your one.
Yeah, so
Do you know the dance still?
no, probably not, to be honest. I mean, we're talking
Vida-da-da-da?
nearly 30 years ago, must be. So I remember Saturday night because I didn't go to many school discos.
Yeah, I went through a phase. I think I went to a lot, and then in high school, maybe not so
I think I went to maybe like one or two at the end of primary school, and I think I went to 2 in high school, and that was me. I was never really interested after that because in primary school, I don't know why I didn't go. Like we it was a little village, and everyone knew everyone, so I probably did go to more. I just can't really remember them. But I remember like in the last couple of years we went, and that's when the whole like Saturday night thing was.
Was that like 93, 95, something like that?
Yeah, something like that must be ish, you know. So it's coming up to not far off 30 years ago.
Wow.
And I remember when it came out, and all the girls in my class and
Knew every
everybody was dancing, and I remember going to stand outside
Yeah.
and just watch everybody dancing because I was like, I don't want to do this dance.
No.
And then so that was a little bit pre or school disco time.
Yeah, I remember like my older cousins knowing it and things like that. Like, but I don't remember knowing it till I was older.
Yeah, so you said the Macarena, was that in your school disco time? Was that a little bit before as well?
I think it kept coming out like every summer. I felt like it just re-released or something. Like I just felt like it was like every year.
It was very much the summer song.
The
for
go-to
quite a while.
DJ for years. I think the DJ would always play that. Still play it now. Like it's a go-to now.
And what's the other one of that sort of ilk around that time? Mambo number 5. That's got to be around your school disco time.
I remember
as well.
that. I do. Yeah, knowing all the words, all the names. Is that the same song where it's like Jessica?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and then there's when I was in high school. Did you ever do social dancing? I don't know if it's.
I don't think so, because when you say social dancing, I'm like, no idea what that is.
So towards like near Christmas time, instead of doing like PE, you would have to do social dancing. So you'd pair up and you would do like the songs we done at the wedding, like heel toe.
Kaylee songs.
Yeah, but it was called social dancing. So you wouldn't do that at the disco or anything. That would be like your daytime school.
I was going to say that'd be a weird ass disco.
No, you'd do that like during the day. You wouldn't do it at discos. But then I remember in high school we also had like spring fling, which was like much more formal than like a disco. It would be like you know, you'd wear like a nice dress. Some of the boys would wear kilts, but not really. And it'd be like, it wouldn't be in the school, it'd be like in a hotel. And then obviously you had prom, which we had prom. Did you do prom?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't in school
But did your school do it?
anymore. No, I don't think
No.
so. We had what we'd call an ROA evening, which was pretty much, I guess, like a prom,
Yeah.
but not really, because it wasn't like
It's quite American, isn't it?
a disco dance
I
type
don't know
thing.
if my brother had a prom.
No, I think it was brought in. I think
Bit my
your sort of
time.
age group
Yeah.
would be the first ones that really had
I loved
an American style prom. Like
Yeah.
when I unfortunately didn't get to the end of my school time, but I think the guys had an ROA evening, which is where they have like an assembly with parents and people perform things and get awards and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
basically everybody afterwards just goes and gets wankered in one of the clubs in North Wales, and that's it. You know, that's like, oh, my ROA evening, mate, as well. Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
And yeah, I never got to do any of that.
So yeah, I think my lasting memory is Cha-Cha Slide,
Right. See, I would
Macarena.
have thought that was like after your time.
That was like
Cha-Cha
high
Slide.
school. Yeah, I remember doing it
Really?
in high school.
Wow, I'm old.
And Spice Girls, If You Wanna Be My Lover, and Stop Right Now, Thank You. That one, knew all the...
See, yeah, the Spice Girls were huge in
moves.
your time, right?
I loved
That's
Spice
when
Girls,
they
yeah.
kicked off. See,
Yeah.
like one of my more sort of lasting memories is I remember being at my school disco, and Oasis, She's Electric came on,
Oh, God.
and not everybody loved Oasis. Everybody was
No.
into their pop time, and I was like, yeah, chew, having a great time. They're my songs.
Yeah, I definitely remember discos being like uncool when I got to a certain age. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
many people that went.
No.
But I'm sure I went to almost all my discos. Like your end of term, like your summer holiday disco, Halloween disco, Christmas disco, Valentine's disco. Like we had a lot of discos.
You really did.
Sorry, John, am I boring you?
Getting tired just thinking about all these discos.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then our social dancing, which was during the
I think
day.
our school had like 2 a year, one near Christmas and one at summer.
Yeah.
But the summer one, I feel like they had a school disco, but then they had a thing called the summer barbecue, where
Aw.
like students would perform and entertain, and they'd do more end of year awards for people and things like that.
Yeah, we had end of year things too.
And I got to sing at one,
Aww.
which is kind of how, as a late teen, I rediscovered that I could sing, which was great.
I would love if I like didn't realise how good I was at singing and just like belted out and was like, oh, I can sing.
I don't think I was that good, not at that point.
No.
But I just rediscovered that I had a voice, because you know, as a gentleman, you go through a bit of a time somewhere between 12 and 16, depending on yourself and how early or late it happens, and you know, your voice goes through a bit of a change.
Yeah, you try not to talk in public.
Yeah, so I was like a child soprano, and then at the age of 15, I was like, oh, definitely not a soprano anymore, but I've got a voice again, which is good, and that was nice to discover.
Aww.
So that was one of those summer barbecue-y party type things that I discovered that in school. Yeah, just on my way out the door, really. So, oh yeah, I can sing again. Bye! So yeah, we did have, as we said, we've got some shout-outs.
Whoop, whoop.
So we've had some absolute classics. So one of our old bosses, the lovely Joe Fisher.
Joe Fish.
Hey Joe, we miss you.
Oh, we do.
So I always think of Joe really, really fondly, and I hope that she listens to this episode, and I am going to badge her to listen to it. But I always think of Joe really fondly, because Joe was the one who helped me set up your engagement.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to be really, really grateful for Joe. And
Joe was there for us too a lot. She was there when we were away from home and my gran died. You know, she was really there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a great manager, great support.
Yeah.
She brought us up when we were up and brought us up when we were down.
Yeah. She was just amazing. Greatest person ever. So Joe gave us a bit of a shout out for "Come On, Eileen."
Dude, I can imagine her singing it.
What a tune! Absolutely, but like trying to do the deep voice as well, like "Come on, Eileen." You can just see her now, like on a table.
That's a good song. That's a classic song for like a DJ, a family party. Like gets everyone on the dance floor, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I think if like generally we talk about those disco classics, that's what they all eventually turn into.
Yeah.
Think about Saturday Night. Think about the Macarena. Think about Cha Cha Slide. They are floor fillers for
Steps
DJs.
are coming back
as you get older for family party.
Spice
Girls,
are coming back.
huge again now. So that's an absolute...
What year was that?
What, Come On, Eileen?
Yeah. I think you're showing your age, Joe.
I'm not going to reveal the year, Joe.
You're nicer than me.
Yeah. I absolutely am, and everybody knows it. And we've had a double shout out from the lovely Lynn.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
Over at Glock. We plugged that the other week. But,
yeah, we're going
the
soon.
The show is coming up not next week.
A week on Wednesday we're going.
So it's in the King's Theatre. Go and watch it. It's going to be amazing. But she gave us a double shout out. So one of them, I think, was her serious shout out.
Mm-hmm. What one was that?
Which was, I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like, I got key, I got secret.
Is it called I've Got the Key?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to sing it.
I don't really know that song, but I have a funny story about that song.
Oh, yeah?
Which I'm sure I've told you. When I used to work abroad, we would keep a key in the cupboard. And at the end...
I just remembered the story.
Yeah, at the end of every day, you had to lock up the nursery and take the key back to reception, and we'd all argue over who had to take this key back to reception because it was out of the way of going home. And at the end of the day, you wanted to go home.
Yeah.
So I would always get to the front door and be like, oh, we forgot the key, who's going back? So I was like, do you know what? I've remembered the key. I'm going to put it in my pocket and I'm not going to tell anyone. And we got to the front door and I was like, oh, who's got the key? And everyone was like, you do, Carol. You've got the key. How do you know? So from the cupboard, I had walked through the nursery, through our front door, singing, I got the key. I got the secret. Without even realising it, I'd sang it the whole way down.
You're amazing. And it just makes me laugh so much because you do genuinely singing narrate your life without realising it, and you do it all the time.
Book on a stick.
We'll get round to that one day.
So I don't know any more words to that song apart from I've got the key, I've got the secret.
That's fine. That's all you need to know now. And her other one, which is really funny because I think this song's been made more important to me in the last few months, which is Bop by Hanson.
Ah, good song. I remember that as well. That must have been played at my discos.
Yeah, and it must have been because it's about the same area, maybe a little bit earlier than you. I know it was a bit after my school discos, but it might have been a little bit before yours.
Yeah.
So somewhere in between. But recently I played that for my friend's wedding because she was like, "I bet you won't play that one." I was like, "Bet I will."
Yeah, it sounded nice.
I did.
You make everything sound nice.
I did a chill acoustic version of Bop. And there's also Alan, who I think's trying to be super cool. He's got
not to be confused with Big Al.
Not Big Al, not my dad. But my other friend, Alan, who's
big,
quite big.
Yeah, he's really tall.
All right, Al. Al was one of my groomsmen at my wedding, and I was one of the groomsmen for his. And he's somewhere out in the big wide world, and I think he's just trying to be cool.
Yeah.
There's got to be a cheesier disco song for him, but he did give a shout out for Jump Around. Jump around, and it's just amazing. And yeah, that's kind of been an enduring song for me, as in I don't think it's just a school disco song for me. I remember being quite drunk in uni and jumping around the clubs to that as well.
Oh,
it's a bit of House
you're
of
such
Pain.
a clubber.
Oh, once upon a day where I didn't know any better. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What was the other one?
For Alan? No, that was it.
I thought you said you had two.
No, Alan just had the one.
Oh, do you know that gives me
Like I said,
flashbacks of...
I think he's just trying to be cool. There's got to be something cheesier, Alan.
Yeah. I remember the phase, Graham, his 18th birthday. So I get those confused because our 18th birthdays were like at the end of our school year. So
Right.
like discos and them kind of mix up. But he loved 99 red balloons. And I remember jumping about the dance floor, kicking all these balloons about, trying to sing German to this song.
I was going to say, was it the original? Yeah.
I think so.
It's not the original. Thinking about it, it's the
99 Luftballon.
Yeah, it's not the original though, is it?
Oh, isn't that?
No, because there was the dancey house version, which is probably...
No, I don't think it was dancey house version.
No.
Anyway, we had another shout out as well.
Yep.
Back from, is it Jenna?
Yeah, it is. Jenna.
Jenna.
Same lovely Jenna, who gave us a recipe suggestion for next week.
Yeah. She said steps 5, 6, 7, 8.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, steps must have been a big part of my discos because I remember steps. I love steps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like yours must have been full of like Boyzone, Westlife, Steps, Spice Girls. Take that, or was that a bit? They were not cool anymore.
More Robbie.
Right,
More
okay, because
Robbie.
he'd probably gone solo at that point, so finishing all your little, like...
Angels was always the last song.
I was going to say, finishing all your couples dances with Angels, that's what I was getting to. I can see you there.
Yeah.
With your mop in the middle.
Shut up, so rude. But do you know what? I think I went to one school disco
Right.
with a boyfriend and a song came on and I was like, you've got to dance with me, it's a couple song, you've got to dance with me. And he begrudgingly two-stepped to the whole song and then went back out to doing his own thing after that. Yeah.
Oh, you never quite got that, like, couple dance thing, did you, babe?
No, I was hoping I'd get it at my wedding
I danced with you.
for one song.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do, Jan?
Played music,
Me.
drank alcohol, chat to your friends.
And was out having fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually out the back for a while drinking whiskey with Jordan.
Yeah. Flashbacks to being alone at the school disco.
Getting Natasha way more drunk than she should have been, which was ace.
That was so good. She
So
said,
good
I don't know why I'm so drunk. I don't know what happened.
I'm pretty sure that she had a couple of glasses of red stag out the back with us. Yeah, it was great.
She's great.
It was great. Yeah, we need to catch up soon.
Yeah.
We haven't had many topic suggestions, guys.
Come on, guys.
Hint, hint, guys.
You've got some written down that we could maybe go through.
Yeah, so we'll announce that with the release of the episode tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll put it on our social media and you can get in touch like you did this time, which was lovely.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, who we've given shouts out to this week. And yeah, keep getting involved because it just makes us feel special and nice, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah. So how can they get in touch, Jan?
So you can get in touch either through Facebook or Instagram.
Both at Hughes' Musing.
That's the one. And you can also get in touch with us via our website, which is...
The website, the real website is live.
It's in its rightful place. We're absolutely buzzing. So where's that, Carol?
It is hughesmusings.com.
hughesmusings.com. And you can also, if you don't want to put it out in a public forum, just send us an email. It's a bit more subtle. Hughes's... The Hughes podcast.
Yeah.
The Hughes podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And yeah, just give us some recipe suggestions, some inspirations. We've had no inspiration corner this week.
I'm still finishing that baby blanket, that's why.
Yeah, we've had no time to be inspired. I've been inspired to get my fat ass into the gym. And that's about it. So we can need some inspiration corner. Give us some recipe suggestions. And give us some Q&A. We've had no Q&A yet. Nobody wants to know anything about us, Carol.
Because we talk all the time and tell it all before they can ask.
That's pretty much it. That is it. Nobody wants to ask anything because we're too busy telling them.
Oh, I forgot to say at my How's Your Week Been that I got sad news this week.
Did you?
Yeah. My Summer World consultant is no longer my Summer World consultant.
Aww. That's sad because you do get on so well.
Yeah, I've been going to this girl for a year and a half. And it is more of like a friendship than it is like a sitting around talking about being fat. But no, she's gone on to bigger and better things, so go her.
That's good.
I will miss her. And
hopefully you'll get on with the new one.
Yeah, hopefully. I'll be nice.
Yeah. I feel sorry for whoever's taken over. So yeah, well.
Yeah, I'll need a bit of extra support and change over.
Yep. But onwards and upwards. I am all about support now. I am gymming it. I'm eating salads. I'm going for it. I'm losing those pounds. Losing the pounds. But yeah, that is everything from us this week. Thank you very much for listening again. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'd love for you to get in touch with us. But for now, that is all. So we'll see you soon.
Chat to you next week.
Bye.